Let's quickly take a look at the 6x Alpha 1 workout performed at home. So remember, this routine is comprised of the squat, a pull-up, a push-up as the first circuit, the second circuit, or starting with the fourth exercise as the deadlift. In this case, I'm doing a straight leg deadlift hinging movement, followed by a row with the rings, and then the shoulder press. As you can see, it really pays to prepare before you just jump into your workout. So as you can see, I am setting everything up, getting everything ready. I'm planning in my head exactly how I'll move through my entire routine. And so make sure you spend about 2 to 5 minutes just preparing and setting everything up for your workout. So here I'm just testing the exact distance and space for the ring row, like I did with the pull-up, also with the squat. So getting everything set up. The next thing you want to do is pull up the data from your previous workout so you can actually start reviewing your previous performance and thereby selecting opportunities for improvement. And here I'm going to try to improve in my push-up specifically. I did 14 before. I'm going to go for 15 this week. And I'm now just looking to see exactly where else I can improve. Now, my total workout time also was roughly 13 minutes. So I want to see if I can improve on my 13-minute workout, get it anything below, I think it was 13 minutes and 5 seconds or something like that. Again, the point is to spot opportunities and then select targets for you to deliberately improve on in the workout. Okay. So again, as you can see, I take my time. I'm planning in my head exactly what I'll do and when I'm going to be doing it. Also keep in mind that if you're a beginner, it's better to do the 6x Alpha 2 workout, which means you'll do the squat, the pull-up, and the push-up, and then you'll repeat that rather than the squat, the pull-up, the push-up, and then doing your unique 6x Alpha 3 protocol or circuit, which is going to be your deadlift, your row, and the shoulder press. So if you're a beginner, I highly recommend you only do the squat, the pull-up, and the push-up, and you do that twice for when you start. And I'm about to demonstrate the first 3 exercises for you now, so you can see exactly what they look like. Okay, so now I'm making sure that everything is set up. The last thing you want to do is deal with equipment administrative problems during your workout. So make sure everything is set up so you don't waste time during your workout. Now you can see I actually started the clock already, and I'm actually going to start on the 10th second. Now the trade-off there is when you start on the 10th second and you've conditioned your mind to always know every 5 seconds it's the next rep, and you've associated a certain rep number with a certain, let's say, second cadence, like the second rep goes with 10, third rep goes with 15. Makes it a little bit tricky, but remember you can just click start on the timer and then start on the 10th second, which is usually giving yourself 10 seconds to set yourself up. Okay, again, I pause at the bottom and up as fast as I can, keeping it controlled. Pause at the bottom, fast up, and slowly down. 1, 2, 3, I pause, and up again I go. Notice that with the way that I'm holding the dumbbell, I'm actually externally rotating my shoulders out. And so that will give me a bit more stability in my shoulder girdle. Also, it will keep my chest open. And sometimes the limiting factor for beginners doing the wall ball squat using dumbbells is grip. You'll feel that many times the limiting factor is not your legs, but you actually can't hold on to the weight, especially when it gets really heavy. And that is what failure looks like. You are incapable of doing your 13th rep. Okay, so when you start learning to track your workout, like by the time you're watching this video, you probably are going to start tracking your workouts. And so input your data after each exercise because you're not going to remember the exact number of reps that you did. So for me, I just inserted my 12 rep squat, getting ready for the pull-up, and off I go. Up fast, hold at the top, and down for 3 seconds. Up fast, pause at the top, 1, 2, 3, and up. Pause at the top, fully contracted in the top position. That's why I'm pausing in the top position. And as you can see, I'm maintaining a very tight posterior pelvic tilt, keeping my body line straight and contracted. Makes it a lot harder than when you have an anterior tilt. And so when you're doing your pull-up, even with a band or if it's assisted, try to keep a straight body line, posterior pelvic tilt, and contracting from the core up to the back and all the way up. You can see I'm really struggling, fighting for that last rep, and slowly down. You don't just drop down, even if it's your last rep. Common mistake is that people will just, because they've made their last rep, they'll just drop. Okay, in 10x, if you drop, that would not count. Okay, so now moving on to my push-up. At this point, I know that my target is going to be 15 reps because I did 14 reps in the previous workout. Now I have to get 14 again or more, 14 or more in this workout to, let's say, increase the weight, increase the load, make the exercise more difficult, go to the next level. And so the next level for me would be doing push-ups on the rings. Okay, same cadence applies as always. 1, 2, 3, pause at the bottom and up, fast, immediately down. Do not rest at the top, common mistake. It's you push up and then people rest at the top. As soon as I extend my arms, as soon as I get to the top, I go down immediately. Do not pause. It's always valuable to, when you first start out, to record all your workouts because there's nothing like getting direct feedback, looking at your own body, at your own form, to really correct you in the beginning. So I highly recommend, whether you're training with me, getting direct coaching from me or not, record all of your workouts and then watch them, and then you will see yourself exactly the most obvious points for correction, and then you correct as you go. And I'm about to exceed 14 reps, and I'm going to get my 15th, which means in my next workout, I get to go to the next level. You can only go to the next level if you've done if you've done 2 reps above your 12 rep target. So if you're aiming for 12, right, 1 minute exactly, and you get 2 reps above your 12 rep target, which is going to be 14 reps, 2 workouts in a row, then you qualify to go to the next level. Obviously, those 14 reps or 14 or more reps need to be perfect. Okay, I input my score for the push-up into the app so I don't have to remember it later on. You'll be surprised to see, a very interesting thing is you'll see how often you forget exactly what you did throughout the workout when you only want to, let's say, start inputting data at the end. And so that's why I do it as you're going, or record your video and then analyze it at the end. Now I'm doing the straight leg deadlift. So I just started my second circuit, and this is my 4th exercise. Instead of doing this, if you're in the beginning stage, you will not be doing this exercise. You will be repeating the 3 exercises I just completed: the squat, the pull, and then the push. But after about, let's say, 3 or 4 weeks of training and getting comfortable with the 6x alpha 2 routine, you move on to this 6x alpha 1 routine. Again, 3 seconds down, pause at the bottom, and up. Okay, target musculature here is my hamstrings. It's my entire posterior chain. And so if you always hear the word posterior chain, it just means the back, posterior, and chain. There's a whole chain of muscles that are connected and they work synergistically. So that's the hamstrings, the glutes or buttock muscles, the lower back, and even a little bit of the upper back. Not to mention your forearms are also quite quite involved here. Now, another limiting factor, one of the other reasons why we tell, and that's me hitting failure right there. But the other reason why we don't want beginners doing this exact routine from the beginning is because the biggest limiting factor is actually people's grip holding onto the dumbbells. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but many of these exercises include me holding onto dumbbells. In fact, my forearms are engaged almost, all the time. So from the squat, I'm holding on to dumbbells. Then I move on to the pull-up, and then it's my forearms again. And then it's push-up. My arms are still engaged. Then I move on to the straight leg deadlift. My forearms are on fire at that point. And so as a beginner, you will experience that to be your main limiting factor, and that will interrupt the process for sure. And so that's why you will not do the 6x alpha 1 routine first. You'll do the 6x alpha 2 routine where you just do a squat, pull, push, and you repeat that 2 times. Okay, so this is an example here where, again, I'm quite tired from the pull-up. And so ordinarily, if I did this in a fresh state, take note, if I did this in a fresh state, I could do 12. Sometimes I've done 14 in a fresh state at this pace before. But I'm already so tired, my forearms are so tired that I can only do 7 in this routine, right? I think I failed there at 8. And yeah, so exactly. I failed at 8, so I've got 5 left. And so again, a classic rest pause technique. I rest long enough until I feel like I'm ready to do at least 3 more reps, right? And so there I go, get ready, and up fast, hold, and 1, 2, 3, up again, lower down, 1, 2, 3, up, that's positive, pause, and that's the negative. Again, positive or not. 2 reps. So again, you employ the rest pause technique as many times as is required to get to your target rep of a minimum of 12. Okay, and last 2, slowly down, that's the negative. Pause, and nice, slow negative. See if I can do another one just to see if that's really my max, and that most certainly was. So keep that in mind, that even though you're going for 12, always try to do your 13th, right? Do your pull as hard as you can and notice where you get stuck, right? Okay, so I'm glad you're seeing this exercise because I, on purpose, am going to select a weight for my shoulder press that is way too heavy. So this is a case of over-selection, but this is a very heavy over-selection, meaning I select a weight that's too heavy for me, meaning I'm going to hit failure before my target rep of 12. But it's so heavy, I'm not even going to make 6 reps here, which means in my next workout, I absolutely need to drop the weight, right? This is not a matter of me being tired okay, obviously I'm a little bit tired, but even in a fresh state, I'm not going to do 12 really good reps with 20 kgs. Remember, this is 40 kgs, 20 kg per dumbbell. So this is a 40 kg press and just way too heavy. So the next workout, I need to drop the weight. See, I've got 7 left. And so I absolutely need to drop the weight, let's say from 20 to 15. So I can do 2 15 kg dumbbells, that's going to be 30 kgs. And then in the next workout, I'll see if I can get a minimum of 12 and not get stuck at 7, how I did. Okay. Again, I prefer the standing press if you can. So learn to do the standing press with lighter weights and then work your way up. Again, now I'm doing the rest pause technique several times until I get to my target weight of 12. So up I go. You can see my right arm is really struggling there compared to my left. Again, only another 2, another rest pause technique. Okay, classic example, complete over selection. So next workout, drop from 20 to 15 per dumbbell, and then try to get 12 on that rep, because now I know I can only do 5 on 20 kgs or 40 in total. Okay, my last rest pause set, and 3 up. That's my last one, and I made it. And there was just no way I was even going to do a 13th rep. Okay, so good example where in this scenario, you're not staying on the same weight and trying to go from 5 to 6. It's better to just drop the weight the next time and get a minimum of 8 reps in a row. But the ideal weight is where, again, you fail between 10 and 14 reps. But remember, in your second circuit, you're always going to be a bit more tired. And so let's say if you were to do a row like I did fresh, I would be able to do 12. No problem. Sometimes 13 or 14. But if it's my second pulling exercise in my workout, I'm going to be obviously pre-fatigued from that, and therefore I'm only going to I'm going to definitely not get 12.